Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. Dan Pierre is asking where we're at. We're here, Dan. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry. I
Yep.
have no more fingernails left because I'm getting extremely nervous about the fact that Odafe Oweh is going to make me eat this microphone cover, and I'm not excited about it. But this is our instant reaction video. I'm James Haskell, and my co-host Glenn Martin. If you're new to the show, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're not new to the show, welcome back. We appreciate all the support, but this show is about you guys and our instant reaction. So make sure to be in the comments. If you want to guarantee response, hit us up in the super chat. But we're getting into it right now. Our instant reaction to the game. Glenn, this is the first question I have for you. How did you feel about us going for it to get the record and keep it alive at the end of the game? You yay or you nay?
You know what? I'm happy for it. You don't work so damn. You don't work what 40 some games. I don't know I got to pull the record up. You don't
42.
work 42 straight games. You don't work that hard for that many games to break a 40-year-old record, to fall 4 yards short when you got Lamar Jackson under center, who can easily pick up 4 yards anytime. I love that they went for it. I'm sure all the players were pushing the coaching staff. I'm sure the coaching staff was probably a little reluctant. Maybe, hey, is this rubbing it in their face? No, you don't come this damn long, this damn far to come up that short of that close and come up short of the record. I thought it was a great decision to go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. 100% agree with you. Couldn't agree more. That was my favorite play of the game. Of all the great plays, Hollywood's big catch, all the other things. That was the play for me because, like you said, it's just a reward for years of cumulative work to get to 43 now, to tie the record. To me, this record, once we break it, if we break it next week, it's gonna be a long time before this thing is broken again. So
Forever.
Obviously not an end all be all. I prefer to have a Super Bowl, but I think it's awesome. And I think it's great. So let's get to Joshua Hunter here before we get into other things. Says, love the Ravens win. Not enjoying the Latavius Murray experiment. Why is Tyson behind him in the depth chart? Glenn, I'll let you answer this one first because this is an interesting one.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was funny. I was giving DK a little bit of a hard time in the group chat here because he picked Tyson Williams to be his breakout offensive player. So when I saw he was inactive, of course, I had to throw a little jab at DK. But yeah, I mean, I think with the issue with Tyson Williams, the only thing I can think is that they're unhappy with his ability to pass protect, and they must be unhappy with his ability to find the holes and get through them quickly. I mean, I don't have the coach's view. I wish I did. But for whatever reason, they have not been happy with his performance. The fact that they threw Lev Bell in there and they continue to run Devonta Freeman out there over Tyson Williams has me surprised. I really don't quite understand it. I get why, Latavius Murray is the most talented and back at this point in the building. So I don't mind him really getting the carries. I understand that it's still slow going and teams are still, loading the box and he's not really having his breakout. But I felt like on that last drive of the game, how many plays was that last drive when the Ravens
over
chewed
6
away?
minutes.
Oh, yeah, well over that. And, I mean, I feel like he started getting something going there. So I'm not ready to give up on Latavius Murray. I think as the season goes on, he's going to get more comfortable. He's going to get better. But I'm surprised that the coaches have seemingly given up on Tyson Williams. How about you, Jimbo?
Yeah, that one's interesting for me too. I will say that the reason I wanted you to answer this is because two things. One, the Latavius Murray experiment, I've said this before, has taught us that he's not Gus Edwards, and that Gus Edwards is much harder to find and replace than I think a lot of people give him credit for. Number two, that Murray really needs to work on his vision. But at the end of the day, I'm okay with having Latavius Murray there because he's a change of pace guy. He's like a Diet Coke version of Gus Edwards, where Lamar can be lightning type. He beats guys with speed and lateral movement, while Latavius Murray is valuable in that he will wear you down. When he gets later in the season, when it gets cold and he's smacking you in the chin over and over and over again, those plays count. They add up, right? So I'm okay with it for now. But Tyson, it is an interesting situation. I think his production's really gone down since that fumble, even though it ended up being a touchdown since that fumble. So I don't know if he's in the doghouse. I don't know. I don't know what the situation is, but this is my hunch. I agree with you. I think that it has everything to do with the pass protection. Everything, especially with the line. We'll get into that. the situation the line is in, that the offensive line is in shambles that it is. So
Yeah.
interesting to see how that goes moving forward. Michael, James, 8 more, but the prettiness. Yeah, you know what? I don't know if it's prettiness. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I'm getting nervous. I will
Yeah,
readily. He
buddy.
almost had another one
Oh,
today.
he reached that branch out there and almost pulled him down.
Jeez, I tell you what,
I'll
I
tell you
love
what.
watching him because this kid, powerful, strong, flexible, everything that I was worried about not translating is translating.
Yeah, and that, on that sack, there's lots of different types of sacks, that you'll see throughout the course of a year. That first one, I don't know if you could have gotten the ball out fast enough to stop that from being a sack. He was so quick around the edge, got to
And he
Teddy so
rocked
quick. He
he
rocked him,
knocked.
and honestly, later in the game, he's the reason Teddy got knocked out with that concussion. If you remember, there was a moment where he was, I guess, like a spy, or I'm not really sure, but either way, throughout the course of the play, eventually ended up with just him and a few feet between him and Teddy, and he was, oh, I guess I better go rush him. And Teddy got it off, but he wrecked him right in the face, and I think that was the cause of the concussion that forced him out.
Yeah, not only did he knock his helmet off, he knocked off the skull cap. I mean, all of it. He took it all off, man. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Certainly, I'm excited about this kid's prospects. I don't want to say that he'll be some sort of replacement for double nickel, but man, it's nice to seemingly have a guy that can win one-on-one matchups, get there with speed, get there with power, stop the run. Gosh,
this is year one, Jimbo. So far. This is game 4.
And I'm all right with being wrong. Look, I don't know. Maybe you can disagree with me, Glenn. Like, maybe I have a hard time being wrong, and maybe everyone does. In this scenario, I'm okay with it because it's just good things for us, right? As Ravens fans. So I'm riding with it. I'm happy to see it. Couldn't be happier and loving it for sure. Let's see what Billy's. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
Sorry about that. We have Williams. Billy Seal says Williams, McCrary, Murray, no question. Queen still can't tackle. And my God, has G-Row grown? Or do I have purple glasses on?
Can I start with this one?
That's a lot to unpack there. Yeah, go ahead, Jimbo.
I'm really starting to think that Patrick Queen isn't that good of a football player. I'm starting to get concerned that. So let me give you a few examples that just come to mind. Once again, instant reaction. I haven't broken down the stats yet, and of course, we'll do those things later. But a few things come to mind. One, he literally uses zero. I mean, if there was a definition in the dictionary, if I was a head coach, let me back up. If I was a head coach and I was like, "Hey guys, this game, let's not arm tackle," I would just run tape of every single tackle that Patrick Queen has ever made in the NFL and show every single one because all of them are arm tackles. Every single one. He uses none of his body. And I'm sick of it. Number 2, it doesn't seem like he's too excited about being around the ball in every scenario. Like, he's not too hyped about it. I saw Chris Board out there closer to the ball.
Big moments.
Exactly. And being more active and not being as complacent with just swallowing up a blocker. Right? But like actually doing something. So those things came to mind. I don't know what the numbers are. I know that was part of our over-unders for tackle for this week in the competition. But I'm starting to get concerned that he might not be about it when it comes to playing middle linebacker and having the hands in the dirt like type mentality. Lunch pail, get after it type mentality.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's hard to argue with the fact it doesn't look like he necessarily is in love with contact. And as a middle linebacker, you got to love contact. I mean, that's literally every snap. You unless you're in some sort of coverage and the ball doesn't come your way, you're having contact every single snap. Disappointed, no doubt. He has 3 total tackles today, Jimbo. 3 total as your starting middle linebacker. That can't happen. It's trash. He was outperformed by Chris Board in a big way, and even Malik Harrison outperformed him as well. So, man, the Ravens, I mean, something's got to change mentality-wise with Patrick Queen, or the Ravens are going to be in the market for another young middle linebacker, which that'd be disappointing that, considering they used such a high pick on him. But also in that comment there, G-Row, it's interesting. I don't know if it's just G-Row's grown or the offense has grown or, the work that Lamar's put in with Tom House and those guys this past offseason has paid off. Whatever it is, the Ravens have a passing attack that can back you up if you want to load the box with 8 and say you can't run it. That's fine. Because guess what? They will get chunk plays down the field. And Lamar Jackson He goes 22 of 37, 316 yards, and a touchdown. And really, it could have been a whole lot worse. They call Andre Smith's big dumbass out there. First of all, he didn't even need to touch the guy. It was a bootleg to the right. That guy wasn't coming anywhere near Lamar Jackson.
Just stand still. Dude.
Yes.
Let me tell you what. Him. Oh, so frustrating. So when this is hilarious because when I used to play ball with my uncles, they would do like the old man pick, right? So they would just like act like they're getting some air and put their hands on their knees and then just rock you with a pick, right? That's all he needed to do. Like just sit there, do nothing. You're better off that way. Gosh, that was so frustrating, man.
So bad. And it takes a touchdown off the board for Mark Andrews where he was absolutely wide open. So the game could have been so much bigger for Lamar. And I feel like we say this every week. And honestly, the game started, I was a little nervous because the first third down we faced, Sammy Watkins dropped the ball. Now, it didn't look like he wasn't guaranteed to pick up the first down, would have had to make a guy miss. But I'm like, here we go again. Tackling issues and drops on offense is going to plague the Ravens again. Luckily, that was really the blip in the radar screen. There wasn't a lot of drops today. Lamar getting 316 yards through the air, his only second 300-yard passing game of his career. Shout out to Lamar. Shout out to the whole offense because with that offensive line, the fact that they were able to pass for 316 yards against a secondary. Jimbo, who was voted the number one secondary above the Baltimore Ravens?
The Broncos. That's exactly what I was going to say. And look what we did to them today. It's so crazy to think that we barely rushed for 100 yards and the highlight of our offense was passing because boy, when we get, when we have to run so now what you're saying to me, Glenn, the proposition is this. Oh, you're going to make us run the football? Sure. We're only the best in history at it. No problem. Like, man, you're right. I mean, Giro has grown. I think Lamar has grown. I think his receivers are better. I think it's a perfect storm, right? Like, and I kind of want to talk about that here for one thing I want to talk about is, here we go. Let's get to Mon. How are you saying that one? Montaxna?
Yeah, there you go. Montaxna. I like that. He says the Ravens made a statement passing the ball against a legit secondary. Love seeing Prochet and Duvernay get involved. Yeah, absolutely. That was one of my big notes. Wow. Prochet explodes onto the scene.
He is scared of nothing.
I love it. I mean, and you know what? He was, like you said, the lack of fear is what I love. Yep. He made a big first down in that game where he had to put his shoulder down and go through the defender and get the extra few yards, pick up a huge, huge first down. Then obviously the big late catch was it like 30 yards? I mean, the guy, first of all, he looks small. He makes Marquise Brown look big out there. The guy's so daggone short.
At least height-wise, I feel like.
Yeah, exactly. But, man, big game for him. Kind of explodes out of nowhere. And just listen to this pass distribution, Jimbo. Marquise Brown with 4 catches. Prochet with 5. Andrews with 5. Watkins with 4. Duvernay with 3. I mean, he was spreading the ball around to all these weapons out there. And all this behind a patchwork offensive line.
I mean, the definition of patchwork. It can't get any. I mean, I'm not even going to say it because it can always get worse at this point.
We saw this game. It could get worse. Andre Smith can be out there a whole game.
Anytime you have Andre Smith active, much less on the field, just get on your hands and knees and start saying prayers. I mean, that's all you can do is just throw him up to the big guy upstairs because really, look, sometimes you just got to lay back and go see Jesus, right? Like there's nothing else you can do. So, yeah, certainly. And I want to talk about this. Michael says, give Hollywood his love. The catch was nice. It was incredible. Way to redeem himself. He had himself a game. But I want to talk about Hollywood, but I want to in this way. I was absolutely impressed with Duvernay as a guy that I feel like low key is pushing other people, being the first out to practice, being extremely sure-handed. I know he had, I think, technically 1 drop today, but that was a really, really tough ball to catch. And Lamar even took blame for that one. But do you remember the play where Hollywood put his shoulder down and stayed in bounds? Now, it didn't get him too much, but I like seeing it from him. Right? I think that has everything to do. You don't think he's looking at Duvernay? I mean, not Duvernay. Excuse me. I keep saying Duvernay. Prochet. You don't think he's looking at Prochet and saying, all right, this kid's doing it. I need to step up my physicality a little bit. Like, I feel like I think it's really cool that he's having an effect on guys that are certainly bigger names in our locker room, but he produced today on the field, and I think he made a tangible difference in the way that his teammates played between Sammy and also Hollywood. So cool. I mean, I hope this kid keeps going because you and I both had him off the roster. Just, based on the numbers, off the team.
Yeah. And look, I don't want to get too, ahead of myself and, the what have you done for me lately, because I do believe when Bateman and even Boykin come back, that his role is going to, I just don't know how much we're going to see this going forward, especially because I thought Duvernay had a good game too.
Yep.
So, especially on that return, that was a big time return, getting him in field goal range right before the half, I believe that.
And the slant in the fourth quarter. Remember, in preseason, he dropped 2 of those.
Yep, snagged it, and made a nice play. So I'm really happy with all of the skill position players on the outside. I thought all of them had really, really good games. Obviously, Lamar had a really nice game as well. It's been really fun to watch. And I'm going to pull up my notes here because I had a couple. I got to give a shout out to somebody, Jimbo. I mean, look, I was bashing them on these airwaves not very long ago. I said I need to see something out of our highest paid outside linebacker. And Bowser showed up in a big way, right? He had 2 sacks, 1 in the first half, 1 in the second half. It was all over the field. Also picked up a holding penalty on your guy, Garrett Bowles.
Yep.
I mean, the guy was everywhere. So I got to give him a shot. I got to give credit where it's due. He showed out big today, earned his paycheck, and looked like the player we were hoping we'd see all year. And hopefully this is just the stepping stone, or this is the launching point for a great rest of the season for Tyus.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was nice to see him, sacks or no sacks, just being active and in the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like for a while there was moments where we didn't even really know where he was at, right? Like, not that he was on the field, but there was no noticeable impact. And so it was nice to see not only did he make an impact, he also finished plays. I was thinking about the same thing. Obviously we know he watches the show. Obviously we know he takes our opinions very seriously. I mean, it's just, why not, right? I mean, what else could it be that motivated him so much? It can't be the millions of dollars. It can't be the lack of, production. It's got to be his watching of the show. So shout out to Tyus Bowser. Certainly balled out. Justin Houston. I mean, the whole defensive front played well. Unfortunately, Calais, of course, was my guy to get there. He didn't get there, but still played well, laid some licks on the quarterback and was very disruptive. So, shout out to the defensive front for getting home. The other guy, Glenn, I got to talk about on defense. I feel like I'm a puppy right now. I'm so excited. I'm just running through the thing. And this is awesome. But I want to say this is that, man, Chuck Clark keeps showing up. He did his best impersonation of Deshaun Elliott, knocked Spencer out of the game. He knocked him. Look, that reminded me of a 2001 football play. It took me back to being a kid.
His ass.
Oh, man, that was great. I love seeing it. And, I thought it was kind of funny. They were talking about how it's technically a defenseless receiver, this, that, and the other. But I thought it was clean because he didn't hit the neck or the head area. Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious. I don't know what else the guy can do. But that was awesome. I just another defensive guy who I thought played well today, Chuck Clark. But I gotta say,
every game, has he had a bad game? I mean, the guy's been here all year. He's been phenomenal all year.
Yeah, and I gotta ask you about this though, Glenn.
Okay.
Any concerns, with Deshaun Elliott out, that Brandon Stevens still his lack of exposure or his lack of experience seems to be getting exposed every game at this point. Any concerns? Are you expect it? What else?
It's what's expected. Yeah. I think I'm still far more impressed than I am disappointed in Brandon. I mean, the fact that he's doing what he's doing this early in his career is just a credit to him. And let's remember, it's not like Elliott's gone for the year. This might be a nagging injury he's going to have to deal with for quite some time, but he'll be back at some point. And the more we see of Stevens, I think the better he'll get. So I'm really excited. I like that comment from Future Hendricks. Put Chuck Clark at middle linebacker. That guy, that's how good he's been. I mean, he's been absolutely phenomenal all year. He's been everywhere. Credit to him, man, because he was not necessarily the playmaker we were hoping for on the back end, but the guy's been just so steady all year for us, makes plays seemingly every game, makes at least one play.
I'll tell you what, he seems stronger, more explosive, and faster this year than I feel like in the previous years we've seen him.
Yeah, and it could be he's just playing playing faster because he's more comfortable. It's hard to know, but I agree, man. He's looked phenomenal, man. And really, he's looked like a lot of what people thought Deshaun Elliott would have looked like this year in these bone crushing hits and he's getting his hand on the balls and all that stuff. I mean, he's just been phenomenal. And I wanted to call out another player here. I think has been playing well. And I saw Makari get chewed up a little bit by Lamar Jackson. I don't know if you remember the play. He kind of gave him a hard time. And look, he didn't have a great game. But where would we be without Patrick Makari, right?
For real.
I get that Von Miller had some pressures, but as far as I know, the stats I'm looking at, he didn't have a sack today. Am I missing something? I know he had some pressures.
I think Von did have a sack.
Oh, he had a half a sack. Okay, they gave him a half a sack. I thought that was a BS half a sack. That was Stearns who got that sack. I was watching that play. Stearns had Lamar tackled, but either way,
we know how it goes. Ray Lewis is still making tackles today.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you get the benefit of being at home and getting the stat sheet because Stearns made that tackle. All I'm saying is he went up against Von Miller. It doesn't get much better than him, and he held his own out there. Battled, I thought played very well, and so shout out to the whole offensive line, but in particular Makari for holding his own out there.
Hey, can we give a big applause to the century man himself getting 100 sacks? Justin Houston, I think today he had 100 sacks. Woo-hoo!
Shout out. And who let me see. Let me pull up our preview here. Oh, who picked him to be our defensive player, our breakout defensive player? It was your boy here picking Justin Houston.
See. Oh, you're right.
Showed out.
I picked Calais. You guys both did better than me. I picked Calais. You guys went Odafe and Justin Houston. I didn't do too good this week.
Glenn, now offensively, I'm 2 for 2 on the breakout players. I got Hollywood and I got Justin Houston. Now I'll say this, Jimmy. I thought Mark Andrews was big in that game. I thought he had some
huge
really
catches.
Big, yeah, exactly. And that one that comes off the board, he would have been the top offensive player had that play stood where Andre had the face mask. So, I thought they all played really well. All right, so you want to get into some over-unders and announce our winner?
Yeah, let's get into some over-unders. We'll go through it. And then all right, so I'll go through the categories, and Glenn, you'll give us the results. Does that work?
Got you. Sounds
all
good.
Right. So this week, what we did, and of course, you guys make sure you subscribe to the weekly competition. You can do so simply by watching our preview show, and then we'll define the parameters and the winner of the competition. Give us your guesses. Put them in the comments of the video, or Instagram, DM us, or Twitter, or Facebook, however you want. But the winner gets a T-shirt. We do it weekly. We'll mail you out a T-shirt. Last week it was Edwin. The week before that it was Troy, or anonymous YouTuber. The week before that it was Troy. So. Winner number 4 this week, but the categories were Hollywood Brown total targets over under 7.5. Glenn was over, I was under, and DK was under. Glenn, what was the number?
Only 5 targets, but damn it if he didn't turn them into a hell of a game here, Jimbo. I mean, it doesn't feel like I was wrong on this one, but I was wrong.
He was all over the field. So you're right, very impactful today, but nonetheless, Glenn, you were wrong.
Damn it.
Number 2, Lamar Jackson passing yards, 253.5 over under. Glenn was under. Over. I was under. DK was over. What was the result, Glenn?
DK, man, it was over. We all, we know he threw for 100. And DK, damn it.
All right, so right now, I have one. Glenn has.
I don't have any, Jimbo.
DK has 1.
He's got both.
No, he's got 2. He's 2 for 2. All right.
Yeah.
Next one. Defense limiting time of possession. So what we measured was the over-under for the Broncos time of possession. So we set it at 33 minutes and 33 seconds. Over-under. Glenn, do you have that number?
I do. They had 26 minutes, 53 seconds of possession time.
Hey, we ran the board on that one. We all had under. We knocked that one out of the park by a large margin. So shout out to all 3 of us here. All right. So Glenn, you're on the board. Patrick Queen total tackles. We all know the answer to this one, ladies and gentlemen. 8.5 was the over under based on the fact that 8 is his season average.
Yeah.
And Glenn went over. I went over. DK went over. We all ran the table. We all got it wrong. All of us.
Oh, Mr. Perfect back there. Looks like you got one wrong.
So DK of our internal competition wins. Now
what a
I'll
shock.
also get Yeah, I'll also really quickly just run through the closest to the pin because these are determining factors if there is a tie for our competition with you guys. But DK wins. Glenn, you bring up the rear, and I am in the middle. But DK holds the record still. So, but total yards for the Ravens, Glenn had it at 424. I had it at 435. DK had it at 410. Glenn, what was the number?
406.
DK closes again. My gosh,
I'm starting to get really irritated with this. I mean, every single week it's the same thing.
So total score is the last one. Glenn had a 27-17. I had a 31-17. DK had a 24-21. So Glenn had total score 44. I had 48 and 45. What was the final score for those of you who don't know? And what was the total?
23-7 with a total of 30. So that's right, guys. Price is righted you both. For the W. Yeah.
Well, DK still won, but yes, we'll give you that one.
Thanks.
We'll give you that one. So this week, though, we have our winner. Really excited to announce our winner. So DK, when I put it up here, if you can put it as a ticker in the banner, Adam78, Adam is one of our patrons as well, was the winner for this week. Big shout out, Adam78, getting a t-shirt sent your way. Adam, we need you to do one thing. DM us an address where you would like us to send the shirt along with the shirt size. So you can send it on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. It doesn't matter, but as soon as you do, we will get it mailed out to you. Now, Adam, I have to say this: if you are not in the continental U.S. or Canada, it's a little difficult for us. We don't got it like that yet. But certainly, if you are, we will send it to you. So shout out one more time to Big Adam 78.
Yeah, congratulations is certainly in order, but also nice. Is he in there?
Yeah,
nice, man. Awesome. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, it's awesome. So also, quickly, I couldn't forget him, and I think Lisa Ann said, yeah, DK, let Glenn win one, but that's not what I was saying. Originally, I think she said something about Justin Tucker and how good he was again, and shout out to him. I guess we take it for granted at this point. He was 3 for 3 again today. His long was 46. I mean, the guy is just the consistency.
Fastest to 300?
Is that what it was?
Fastest at 300 of all time. Just another notch.
Is he going to have every single record by the time he's done this?
Will he be the Tom Brady of field goal kickers?
I mean, it's hard to argue with the trajectory he's on now, but we all have to remember Mike Vanderjagt, who had the record. He missed one kick, and I don't think the same will be happening to Justin Tucker, obviously, but we've seen it before the guy was just phenomenal again today. He continues his streak of making fourth quarter field goals. The guy is just, I mean, what can you say? He's the GOAT. He's the greatest.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to him big time. And Lisa also said at the beginning, Henry is, as of right now, our good luck charm. We are officially undefeated from the time of his birth. So we'll keep it going. That's right. Never lost.
Undefeated, never lost. Absolutely. Shout out. Let's hope that when Big Al left, I can't wait to see. Is there any updates yet? I haven't seen, because I need to see that this guy's going to be out there. Because, Jimbo, if they don't have Big Al, do we see Macari go to left? Or do we see Andre Smith stay at left? What's your prediction, way too early, on what they'll do at left tackle if Big Al's not out there?
I think Macari goes to left.
Okay.
And they try and figure it out on the right side. I don't know what the solution is, but I mean, they just try and figure it out. But I think Macari ends up on the left side. Let's see. Who are your potentials for the right? Oh, man, we're going to be looking in the market. I just can't have Andre Smith on the field. I mean, Andre Smith on the field. I just can't.
No.
I just can't take it anymore.
No, can't do it. But so look, Alejandro's never missed a game, right? I think I remember looking that up when they first got him. I don't think
if he's got legs under him, I'm pretty sure if his tendons are intact, he's going to make it out there.
Yeah, so I'm hopeful that we will see him back, because holy smokes, it's going to be a long one. But also, another thing to celebrate, the Ravens don't go on the road, I think, until November 11th when they go to Miami.
Yep.
So long stretch, got to take advantage of these home games, got to get some wins under your belt because we all know that stretch towards the end of the season is coming, and it's
Yep.
going to be a monster of a stretch. So let's get some wins together.
Yep.
And also, another bit of good news. The Steelers lost again, right? The Packers took care of business, knocked them down a peg there. And unfortunately, the Browns did get a win on the road in Minnesota, 14-7 in a low-scoring affair. That defense looks like it is the real deal. But luckily, we don't have to play them for quite some time. And so we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there.
Meta
But
BK also, somebody just put
yeah.
in the chat below, balling out, looking good. Dude, anytime you sack somebody with one hand by grabbing, that's the most disrespectful sack ever. Like, it's literally why they started calling it a sack, because it makes me think the quarterback, he literally threw him to the ground like a sack of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was nothing to it. It was just 5 pounds of russet potatoes on the ground. Done. I mean,
yeah, that's not. You're right. It's embarrassing as a pro athlete to get pulled down by one hand.
Yeah, I mean, ridiculous. Oh, geez. Yeah, that was awesome.
And shout out to Anthony Averett, Jimbo. I mean, look, he didn't practice all week. Nobody thought he was going to go in the media. He comes out here, doesn't just play. He plays a ton of snaps and gets the game-sealing interception, even though it was pretty much over at that point, but prevented them any type of moral victories or anything you want to call it. Put an end to that, picking off Drew Lock in the end zone
and gave us a chance to break the record.
I guess that's even better. And even better point there. Gave him a chance. And I don't care what all these, because here's what's going to happen, Jimbo. All the old fogies are coming out. They're all going to say,
bring it.
This is Bush. This is that. You know, you don't want to risk Lamar getting hurt. You don't come this far. You don't do it for 43 games just to come up short. 42 games just to come up one game shy. But you don't do it. You got to go for it. Happy they did. I don't care what any of these old farts say. They're going to come out of the woodwork.
Absolutely. 100%. I'm so glad we made it. Now, this week, guys, we are going to change things up. What we're going to do is tomorrow, you, instead of seeing one big long video of the show of our full breakdown, we're going to have a series of smaller ones. Hopefully you're able to work your way through those, but certainly be on the lookout for the videos we're going to pump out tomorrow. As for tonight, we're going to sign off, but what we are going to do is encourage you to enjoy the game tonight, have some fun with your family, eat some good food, watch some football, hang out. Man, I'm so happy because I don't got to work this coming week. I'm off for paternity leave. I'm not sleeping that much, but you know what? I don't have to deal with work. I'd rather not sleep. So,
that's right.
Look, shout out to all you guys for the support, the love. The Ravens are 3-1. And Glenn, I'll say another thing. I'm starting to get a hunch about this team. We find different ways to win and to fight. And to me, that is a scarier team than the 2019 team. If the offensive line can get healthy enough to sustain us in a run game, you better look out for this Baltimore Ravens team, because we're going to be battle tested. We're going to know how to win in a multitude of ways, be able to trust one another. And as long as Patrick Queen can learn to tackle, then we might be going places, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, look, you still got to face Cleveland. That's the big one in front of us right now. Cleveland is the big one that's preventing us from taking. And look, let's not sleep on the Bengals either.
You're right.
The Bengals are looking good, and let's not sleep on them. We might be able to take a little nap on the Steelers, but not on the other two in the North. But let us know what you guys think about the win. How hype are you about the Ravens moving to 3-1? Woo! This is probably where we expected them to be. I mean, most people probably had them at 3-1 after 4. Maybe not the exact way they got there, but most people probably had them at 3-1 regardless. So let us know what you guys think, and we'll talk soon.
See ya.